Hi Virgo, welcome to your October 2024 horoscope. There is a lot happening in October. The beginning of the month especially can be quite intense, so let's just jump right into it. We start the month with a solar eclipse, so yes, it's safe to say the beginning of the month is intense. The solar eclipse, or the new moon in Libra, is happening on October 2nd. For you, Virgo, this is happening in your second house. So there might be some faded new beginnings when it comes to your finances or when it comes to your self-esteem and self-confidence. So this could be getting a raise, so maybe something else happening with your finances, with your ability to provide for yourself. Or it could be some sort of realization or epiphany about what it means to truly love yourself. This solar eclipse is happening in the decan that is ruled by Uranus. So what comes your way may be completely out of left field, completely unexpected, and it might take you by surprise. I want to give you the permission to take time before acting. You do not need to make any decisions. You do not need to take any actions during the actual eclipse or even a couple of days after. And honestly, I would actually encourage you not to take any actions or make any decisions just yet. This is because we have quite a few planets retrograde. Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, Pluto are all retrograde during this solar eclipse. Therefore, it's much better to reflect first on what's happening, what actions we might want to take before we do so. A couple of days later, on October 4th, we have Saturn trining Venus. For you, this is highlighting your 3rd and 7th house. So even though you might have been feeling a bit of tension in your relationship, you might have really have to put in the work, you might have really had to put in a lot of self-discipline, a lot of attention when it comes to your partnership. At the beginning of the month, especially with this trine with Venus, you might find that you're able to communicate with your partner in a much better way. You're able to communicate in a way that makes things flow a little bit easier, and you're starting to see that hard work start to pay off. A couple of days later, on October 9th and 11th, we have 2 planets that are changing the movement, the direction of their movement. And I gotta give a disclaimer, no planet ever actually changes the direction of their movement. This is really about how it appears to us from our advantage or our perspective here on Earth. So on October 9th, we have Jupiter going retrograde. And on October 11th, 2 days after, we have Pluto going direct. So both of these planets will sort of stop around the same time and switch opposite directions of movement around the same time. So these 2 days might feel quite intense for most of us. And for you, Virgo, on October 9th, Jupiter is going retrograde in your 10th house. So if things have been going very well at work, you might have gotten some very nice opportunities. Things might just be gelling a little bit better there. Jupiter going retrograde is going to ask you whether you're taking those opportunities for granted, whether you're becoming a little bit haughty because of these opportunities, whether you're not really taking them and running with them because you think, oh, well, they'll come again. And then on October 11th, Pluto will go direct in your 5th house. And this will be the final time that Pluto will be in your 5th house in your lifetime. So now is the time to put your money where your mouth is. Now is the time to really showcase what you have learned about the power of creativity, the power of self-expression, and how you can use your connection to your inner child to give your life a sense of purpose. Afterwards, on October 13th and 14th, we have another 2 very interesting days. What may appear as a really wonderful day because there is a trine between the Sun and Jupiter actually has a bit of like some complexity to it or some interesting vibes to it. So the Sun between Trine and Jupiter might make us feel very optimistic, very excited for the future, feeling like we are unstoppable. But on this day, the Sun also squares Mars. So we might feel like even though we have these great ideas, we're not able to put the actions in place yet to actually make it happen. On this day as well, we have an opposition between Venus and Uranus. So we might also feel like we want to do this unique thing. We want to break the status quo, do something unexpected. But we also really like the way things are. We like how things are peaceful and harmonious right now. We like that we belong very clearly in our little safe bubble. You are finding it hard to step into these ideas fully because of that opposition. For you, Virgo, the Sun and Jupiter are highlighting your 2nd and 10th house. So you might especially be feeling this grand ideas, excitement, optimism when it comes to your finances and your career. And please do so. Please feel excited. Take this wonderful energy. But keep in mind that you might not be able to act on it just quite yet. And be careful not to take unnecessary risk. Then on October 17th, we have a full moon in the sign of Aries. For you, Virgo, this is happening in your 8th house. So the moon is in your 8th house, while the sun is in your 2nd house. This could mean that you are understanding what it means to be vulnerable in a way that you never have before. You understand what it means to truly open up to somebody, what it means to really share not just your inner world, but maybe even share resources such as money with somebody else. During this full moon, we also have Venus sextiling Pluto. And this vulnerability might be asking you to step into this inner child of yours, to step into this creative side of yourself. And you might find that this is helping you become even more vulnerable, even more open and trusting with your partner. The next day, on October 18th, Venus enters the sign of Sagittarius, or your 4th house. So you might feel very motivated to decorate your house, to start bringing some harmony and beauty into your familial relationship as well. You know, maybe when you go to visit your parents, you want to bring flowers. So when you're at home, you want to get some music going or light some candles. A couple of days later, on October 22nd, we have the Sun squaring Pluto. And even though this can be intense, it is a very quick aspect. So therefore, the effect that it will have on us will not be very long lasting, but probably something a couple of days, maybe at the most a couple of weeks. Again, the Sun and Pluto are highlighting your 2nd and 5th house, asking you to take a look at this relationship between your inner child and the love you have for yourself, the confidence you have in yourself, the relationship between being creative and feeling confident, the relationship between how you spend your money and how much you're able to enjoy life and get in touch with the pleasures of day-to-day life. And it might feel like they're at odds with each other. We are talking about a square, after all, between Sun and Pluto. So you might feel like, oh, I want to spend money, but somehow you're spending money on activities that are not bringing you a lot of joy, or you feel like, wow, I do want to get in touch with my inner child and the things she used to find creative and fun back in the day. But when I do that, it also brings up to me all of the ways that maybe I felt inadequate as a child. I felt unloved as a child. So we see this tension coming up on this day. And I promised this transit was going to be fast, and it is. The next day, on October 23rd, the sun is already out of there and entering the sign of Scorpio. For you, Virgo, this is your third house. So from this day onwards, you might feel like you really want to spend time absorbing news, reading news, being on top of everything happening around you. You might feel like you want to take some short trips, maybe within your own city to explore. And you might also feel like you really want to stay in touch with your siblings or stay in touch with your neighbors. We're almost there. Let's talk about 2 more transits in the month of October. On October 24th, we have Mars sextile Uranus. And while most of the time I do decide not to talk so much about sextiles and trines, especially sextiles, a lot of the times they are so subtle that most of us don't even notice them. This one, the sextile between Mars and Uranus, I wanted to make sure I talked about it because both of those planets can be quite in your face. This sextile for you, Virgo, is happening between your 9th and your 11th house. So if you have been taking some courageous actions, doing some things that you're afraid of with your friends, maybe you're standing up to them, setting boundaries with them, maybe you are doing a scary thing and signing up for a volunteering group. All of those actions you're taking there are really helping you in some way form your unique values, your own unique life identity. And they're maybe even providing you with new opportunities to educate yourself, to learn, maybe even to travel to places that you never have been before. And finally, we close off the month on October 28th with a square between Venus and Saturn. So I know it's a square, we're closing off the month a little bit tense, but I'm sure that we can all handle it. For you, Virgo, this square is highlighting your 7th and 4th house, which are angular houses, which means that you are one of the signs that might feel this square at the end of the month a little bit more prominently or strongly than some of the other zodiac signs. And, there are many ways that this square could manifest, but there's some tension between your family and your partner, some tension between your home and your partner. Like I said, it could manifest many ways, but maybe you're spending a lot of time with your family and then your partner feels a little bit left out. Or perhaps you have to really give your partnership a lot of attention, to take care of it, to spend time to nurture it. And as a result, you feel like you're not able to dedicate as much time with your family. You might feel like because things are moving a little bit more difficult with your partnership, you stop opening up to your partner as much, and instead you throw all of that love and attention and trust into your family, or you become a little bit more introspective, a little bit more introverted, and you spend a lot of time alone, a lot of time at home, separate from your partner. So even though it's maybe not the most comfortable way to end off the month, Virgo, I know you got this. So overall, Virgo, a really exciting month ahead. There's some focus on your partner, some focus on your creativity, what it means to be creative, what it means to get in touch with your inner child. And then, of course, there is some attention on your self-confidence and your self-esteem as well. So overall, really nice topics to keep yourself busy with during the month up ahead. Thanks for joining me, Virgo. I hope you enjoyed this horoscope. And if you want more, you're like, I want more, I want to know more about that eclipse at the beginning of the month, then make sure you check out the live that I did on eclipse season. It's an hour long, so there's plenty of information there. Thanks again, Virgo, and I hope to see you again soon.